Because when you consider,
I hope so.
yeah, who the top the highest players right now from the Niners, you're looking at Jimmy G, Dee Ford, you're looking at Eric Armstead, George Kittle, Trent Williams, Richburg, even. So, two out of those six guys haven't played at all this year. Then you're looking at Jimmy and Kittle being out for extended time. So the only true, players right now playing are Armstead and Trent Williams. And then you'll have to pay Trent Williams this offseason too. So like
a ton.
Yeah. I'm thinking like I don't know if they say bye to Dee Ford. I think they'll still have to owe him like I believe 14 million something is the dead cap on that.
It's a ton because they reworked his deal early. I think right before the season started, they reworked his deal for basically short-term cap relief, and they sacrificed like longer term. But this is when they thought he was going to be healthy. So now that he's, I think Lynch said was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday or this morning. I can't remember which, that he has no update because of his back. And he didn't sound optimistic in any way that Ford was going to come back this season. I said a couple weeks ago, I don't know if he ever plays again. If your back is that bad and it's that, kind of sensitive, like, at some point, I think you just hang him up and say, look, especially the way he plays and how he plays, the torque, and the rut, man, you can't, you can't mess up your back. Like if it's already kind of like, do you really want to? No.
Yeah.
And he's made a ton of money. Like I think at some point his family, somebody's gonna be like, look, it's not even worth it, man. Like just don't even. Once your back is bad, it's really.
It's tricky, and the Niners are in a tough spot, no doubt about it. Have a guy who's eating that much cap and can't get a snap. Like that's why I say like they're gonna have to change their philosophy and who they get. You're gonna have to just get a lot of low risk, high reward type of players, like Jordan Willis, and he got a sack last night, like dudes like that. That's what gets you into at least they're up there contributing. It wouldn't put you in a tough spot where you have to like keep re-signing guys, adding them to the practice squad, and then bringing guys up from the practice squad. Like you don't want to get into the reserves, and the Niners got into the reserves like since day one. So, the 8-ball was kind of behind them, but I feel like they've done a lot of self-inflicting, moves that's gotten them, in the spot that they're in.
I like to see just bring in some guys who aren't injury risk. Because to be fair, like they brought in guys like Dee Ford had a history of injuries. That's part of the reason Kansas City didn't want to pay him. Like he was going to ask a lot, but he just couldn't stay healthy in his tenure. Quan Alexander was coming off a big injury. I'm trying to think who else off the top, but just those two guys alone. Jimmy had McKinnon, like Verrett, like who's actually been healthy. But you know what I'm saying? Like these guys who, I think, like I said, they paid them, which what they're paying these guys isn't a ton if they're healthy. If they're on the field, like what Ford's making is totally worth it if he's healthy. Jimmy, if you tell me next year he's going to be complete 100%, he's going to be a full season, perfectly healthy. What he's making next season is a bargain, total bargain. That's for a lot of guys. Quan, you can go down the list of guys who they're worth it if they're on the field, but they're not. It just you're killing your cap. You're killing it. Like, they have what 80 plus million on the IR right now. Like that's insane. Like to have that much money sitting in, on IR, like you're just killing your cap. You're killing any flexibility you have. Like trade deadline. Like if you can't take on the contract, like there are so many issues with it. I like to see him bring in like some Kerry Hiders, like I said, Jordan, like guys who can get on the field and maybe aren't studs, right? Like I said, like Ford, when he's healthy, he's a stud. But when is he going to be on the field? Just give me a guy who can just be on the field consistently and just produce. Maybe not that high level, but you can depend on week to week. Like I depend on guys like Ford that unfortunately just I at this point I assume he's just not going to play, right? Like that's your assumption at this point. Like every week, even if he came back next week, like he's healthy.
Yeah.
There is no way I take a bet saying he make it to the end of the season. No way. I wouldn't
Yeah.
bet a penny on that.
Yeah.
So
No,
it
it's
just
true. I mean, you touch on the 2018 free agents, being Dee Ford, Quan Alexander, I'm sorry, Richburg, not Quan Alexander. He was 2019. But then McKinnon would be another guy. And, those are at the time the Niners had cap space. So I understood like, all right, let's get some guys that could come in here and actually contribute. But, you quickly find out that they were just banking on them being healthy when they had an injury history. And now, obviously McKinnon's finally getting on the field for the Niners, but that's after 2 years. Dee Ford hasn't, really done anything. Um, and then we touch on Richburg. Who knows when he's going to be back? And the center position in general, I feel like we will have to get someone else in there because I think Ben Garland's on his last year. And then the guy that was, just got taken out, Hronis Grasu. So yeah, it's just an area that they'll need to focus. I expect them to go after, like I said, low risk, high reward type of players. Pay the guys that you have in there already. Fred Warner, I believe you'll have to pay him pretty soon. Trent Williams, obviously. So yeah, just pay the guys you have there. And if you honestly believe in the coaching staff that you have now, then you can develop the players.